Starstruck.
Hello and welcome to Joyride. I am Jared Brendan Flandy, and
I'm Kyle Dauterman.
this is the show that is about...
We're 3 seconds in.
You know what? We're just going to keep going. And this is the show that is not about the destination, but about the journey. There we go.
You bet.
Okay. Hello and welcome back to the studio, Kyle. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Really excited to pick up on this story and, just excited to be here.
It's still going.
It is. It is. Such as when you watch a Cessna stolen from an airport fly across the sky, you say, it's still going.
And I'd like to point out this is a somewhat British-spirited recording session right now. We're having tea and some scones that my mother made. Oh.
Yes, it's very British, they say.
And as you pointed out, I didn't even think about this. I'm wearing a BBC T-shirt right now.
That'll do it.
Which is British Broadcasting Corporation.
That's what they're telling me.
Yeah.
I don't know if we believe them.
Okay, so in the Colton saga here.
Yep.
So we're rolling into part 5. And just as a little recap, in case there's been some gaps between someone listening to this, is that Colt was at the McMinnville Airport, which weirdly enough is our hometown.
Yep.
And then he went to Eastern Oregon, and then did a series of stealing cars, hopping his way across the country. And then we left off where he was he went to an airport and he lifted an Escalade.
Yep.
So now we are, like I said, moving on to number 5, Johnny 5.
We should have kept track of how many vehicles had been stolen in this story.
When we get to the last one, I'll count them up.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
All right. So that's right. Okay, he just left Idaho. So after saying goodbye to the land of potatoes, Colt left Idaho and crossed into Wyoming. On June 13th, police officers from the town of Cody went to investigate a truck theft that occurred at High Country Roofing. Being Idaho, no, it's Wyoming. They probably don't have legalized weed there, so it's not high in the way I'm thinking.
Oh, definitively not.
Okay.
Definitively not.
The cops, while sniffing around, eventually found an unusual piece of evidence. A giant footprint that was made in the mud. The cops at first joked that Bigfoot had been there, but they likely thought Mr. Harris-Moore was the more probable suspect.
I would think so, yeah. My favorite Mitch Hedberg joke is, maybe Bigfoot is just blurry.
I love that humor where it's stupid but clever at the same time. It really is paradoxical.
He was a great comedian.
They eventually deduced Colt went for another Escalade on the roofing property. He just loves those Escalades.
He really does.
But if you're right, this is like 2010-ish. Those were such a big deal back then.
Yeah, they were hot.
They were hot, yeah. But the Escalade he found was too damaged, which forced him to steal the roofing truck instead.
Oh, seems counterintuitive considering it's going to have branding on it, I'm guessing.
You get ladders. This is very...
To be fair, though, at this point, to remind the listeners, Colton doesn't really keep any particular rig much longer than a couple of days at this point in the story. This is not like keeping something and... using it day after day. He's just dumping it to get to the next vehicle.
Yeah, once it's out of gas, he's gonna lift another car.
Yeah.
Yep. So, later inspection concluded Colt had cut his foot at one point, causing him to bleed inside the truck, leaving his DNA behind. Mm-hmm. Which I guess it doesn't. I guess it does bother him. He knows that they're looking for him. So what's the difference?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really, yeah, that's fair.
The truck itself, though, only made it through a couple of counties before it ran out of fuel. I doubt a roofing truck has more than half a tank in it.
Yeah. Probably gets about 9 miles to the gallon on a good day, so.
Let's see here. This forced the Bandit next to acquire a Lincoln Mark LT, the noted luxury pickup truck that drug mules seem to have a soft spot for.
Wow, okay.
Did you ever see that movie, The Mule, with Clint Eastwood?
I have not, but I've seen like every clip of the movie. I think I could reconstruct the movie in an editing timeline based on all the social media clips I've seen of it.
Well, in the movie, I guess he played a real guy. The story did happen where he was a 90-year-old man running drugs. And when he started making more money, he got a Lincoln Mark LT. And I was curious, I was like, is this just, like, was this, like, something in the movie that was made a stereotype? Apparently drug mules like that truck for some reason. All right, well, so if you're in that business, that's what you go.
This episode brought to you by the Lincoln Mark.
Fast forward the clock a touch. Jim McLaughlin, who was the manager of the Johnson County Airport in Wyoming, noticed that after he slammed the door shut to his hangar, the padlock had fallen out. At the time, he didn't think much of it. Maybe the lock had just gotten old and now needed to be replaced. Which is another pattern I'm seeing throughout this story, is just shrugging it off right off the bat. When Monday came around, he discovered some even more suspicious things. 8 Snickers bars were missing from the FBO counter. And in one of the hangars, a considerable amount of big tools were missing, such as large screwdrivers and pry bars.
I appreciate that they counted the number of Snickers and that information made it all the way to us. Very important details. Had it been 6, he would have thought just the wind. 8? Something's going on here.
Someone's been eating my Snickers.
Now, something's going on here. I like the idea that the lock falling off, not a big deal to this guy. 8 Snickers. Now, folks, there's something going on.
There's something going on here. Someone's in my Snickers again. And his buddy's like, dude, it's okay. No, it's not. So, there were also 2 cars in another hangar. One was a Suburban, and the other a sporty Cadillac CTS-V. So, the fast Cadillac was gone, while the Lincoln had been lonesomely left in the airport parking lot. So it's a sportier Cadillac. It's not SUV, okay? Mm-hmm. The CTS-V, after having traveled 163 miles, was found abandoned near the town of Spearfish, South Dakota, and it was not far from, you guessed it, an airport.
Now, folks, if you're not surprised by that, then I don't know what will surprise you.
The airport manager noticed that there was 15.8 gallons of aviation fuel missing, but that was not all that was missing. Both the keys to a Ford truck in the FBI office and the truck itself had disappeared. Combining these two things, the only conclusion was the thief filled the truck up with aviation fuel in order to travel even further.
Does that work?
It surprisingly does.
Huh.
I mean, they used to burn... Oh, here's a little fun fact for you. So, farmers would make all sorts of, like, basically biofuels in, like, the early 1900s, and the Ford Model Ts were designed to run it.
Wow.
But over time, that feature went away because we didn't want people making their own fuel. We did it. Certain companies didn't want that.
Yeah. And, maybe not the safest thing to be doing.
Apparently you could also like run moonshine in some of them. I've heard stories. I don't know if that's true, but so yeah, probably not the safest thing.
What's the compression factor on moonshine? We got to find out.
So River City, South Dakota. Gary Carlson runs the FBO at the local Chan Gurney Airport. Later, Gary would be asked if he had received any warning from law enforcement since Colt had been sticking to such a rigid MO, as you've pointed out. His reply was, quote, none, no, not at all. Even though there was no warning, Gary noticed something was going on when he saw his computer monitor had been turned off when he distinctly remembered leaving it on sleep mode. A security door had also been jimmied open with a large screwdriver where some blankets had been lifted that were for pilots who wanted to take a nap between flights. The key to a recently delivered Chevrolet truck was also missing. The truck itself was fitted with GM OnStar, which features tracking ability in the event of the vehicle being stolen. So, Colt may have passed on the truck because of this feature, but the other GM vehicles he also stole likely had it, which he probably got around by dumping them at just the right moment. So besides the gas thing, that's when he gets into a GM vehicle, that's probably why he's getting rid of it as soon as he can, too.
Yeah, there's an aspect of this where there's a kind of a timeline whenever he steals a car, right? Mm-hmm. There's only so much time you can get out of it, because the longer you're in it, it's going to get reported stolen. The plate's going to be out on a, watch list. So by the time all that stuff happens, he's already dumped it. So he's just moved on to the next one. He's kind of taking advantage of kind of the bureaucracy and the reporting and everything having to be done and get out. And by the time everything gets to the point where they'd be looking for that vehicle, he's already out of it.
So, I think you just, so you put that, okay. So since he did not steal it right away, Colt may have just been biding his time. It turns out, so he hasn't stolen the car we're talking about, okay, yet. Yeah. That's the confusing part to the people here, because the key's missing. It turns out he'd been casing a series of houses, but eventually settled on one that was owned by Kelly and Lisa Neffel, okay? Kelly and Lisa had been working a lot, so they had not spent much time in the house. Colt took advantage of this by camping out in the house, where he played video games, ate their pudding cups, and used their washer and dryer to do his laundry. Keep in mind, this is a kid, basically. I mean, he's a late teenager, but so he's still living a lifestyle that a kid in late high school would be living.
Video game, pudding cup, laundry. Kind of alive, to be honest.
So Kelly and Lisa, along with their 4 youngest children, had been on a vacation, but were now coming home from the airport late at around 3 in the morning. Colt at that time was taking a shower when he heard the family come home. Lisa, while carrying her daughter, noticed that a door in the hallway had been left ajar. As she approached it, a hand sprung around and closed it, scaring Lisa beyond reason. Kelly, her husband, bolted through the door, where he was then presented with a naked man standing before him.
There's so many. The absolute terror they would have felt. But it's objectively funny that there's just a new guy in your house. You're just come back and there's just a naked new guy that you've never met before just there.
Well, it's not like Home Alone where it's these 2 stereotypical burglars with the hats and everything. It's just a naked guy.
It's like a naked 19-year-old dude with giant feet. And you're just like, what the fuck is happening? My God. So I gotta know what happens now.
Okay. The naked man took off running.
Yeah.
Kelly proceeded to chase after the bare-assed bandit while yelling, "Get out of my house!" Colt, using his vampire-style parkour, jumped over a banister, landing almost at the bottom of a set of stairs that led to the basement of the house. Naked, I'd like to point out. Kelly ran down the stairs and into the basement, so he didn't leap as Colt did, okay? Colt, who could not be seen, thankfully since he was in his birthday suit, yelled, "Stop! I've got a gun! I'll shoot!" A red dot appeared on Kelly, and upon seeing that, he decided to retreat back up the stairs. His family was already on the phone with 911. The bare-assed bandit ran to the dryer, yanked it open so forcefully he broke the latch. He ripped out his wet clothes and dressed as hurriedly as he could. By the time the police arrived, he was gone. This time, fingerprints had been taken and reinforcements had been brought in, scouring the neighborhood. A helicopter was also brought in to look for Colt from the air. He, meanwhile, did what he knew best. He sprinted through the woods in the pitch black, once again putting his problems behind him. Well, he then broke into another house, found the keys to a Toyota Sequoia SUV, and sped off with the intention of putting even more miles between him and the police. In the big Toyota, Colt crossed the Missouri River and blasted his way through Nebraska. Eventually, he pulled into the interestingly named Tahazuka Park, which was next to the Carl Safon Memorial Airport. Is this sounds like a Monty Python sketch? Yeah. So he found an unlocked door and turned the surveillance equipment off. I mean, obviously the surveillance equipment is always just out in the open where it could be shut off,
too. Is this just like a movie where there's just like a big terminal and there's just a big red button that's just like
click.
off?
Yeah, click.
It's like a big, one of those cartoonish shut off the electricity kind of things. Like, come on.
So, but a technician was able to recover the data later, however, which showed Colt passing up the cash, but instead decided to take an aviation-themed hoodie. The next morning, the airport called the police. The area had recently experienced flooding, and a cleanup crew had discovered the Toyota. That's when the police told management to check all the hangars to see if anything other than the hoodie was missing. There was something missing. A car, which of course was a Cadillac Escalade. How many people have Escalades back then?
And they're all at airports.
And they're all at airports.
And it's just going from one to the next.
Our roofing companies.
Yeah.
So, June 20th, Shane, the manager of Classic Aviation in Pella, Iowa, with the solidly Dutch last name of Van Voort, said he noticed that $450 of cash, sweatshirts, 2 boxes of Tic Tacs, and some tennis shoes that belonged to an airplane mechanic were missing. The airport's courtesy car was also gone, a $1,500 Dodge Caravan minivan that conspicuously displayed the name of the business and its phone number.
Again, I'd like to say thank you to the people kind of documenting this story to get to us, that they kept track of how many packs of Tic Tacs went missing. It's very important. He's stolen less packs of Tic Tacs than he has Cadillac Escalades, but, I appreciate that we're keeping track of everything.
So, meanwhile, author Bob Frill, the author behind a lot of the source material, he was trying to pinpoint the next airport Colt was going to hit, and with a cold call to Classic Aviation, he guessed right. With the tip from Bob about Colt, Shane contacted the Department of Transportation, and finally a warning was sent out to airports alerting them of the Bandit.
Only 15 airports later.
Yeah, By late June, he was in Ottumwa, famous for balloon races. Colt got busy at the municipal airport where he took all the money from the cash drawer. One night, he broke the window of a Frito-Lay truck, since he suddenly got the munchies, I guess. Crunchy goodness in hand, he spotted a 2010 Chevrolet HHR, a unique convertible truck that was parked at the Ottumwa Waterworks. Luckily for Colt, the keys were in it.
Dear listeners, if you cannot hear the disappointment in my voice at folks across the country just leaving things open, it's astounding how often in this story we continue to run into the same problem. This would have been 2 parts long if people used locks the way they're supposed to. It would have been like, guy steals one thing and then immediately, can't break it anywhere else.
Well, I can't say with a house, just like or a building, unless it's a really sophisticated lock. I mean, locks really do just keep honest people out.
Yeah.
But I will not mention him by name. But I used to work with a guy that apparently had an interesting past. Admitted to the fact that he was a car thief. He was from New York. And me and some other guys wondered if that he was had some mob connections once upon a time on top of it. Just the way he explained and talked about things. But he said, like stealing a car back in the day, it was easy. You pop the tumbler out or you cross 2 wires to hot wire it. He said now you literally would just have to like threaten someone with a gun to get out, because it's really, really hard to steal a car without the alarm going off or getting into it without damaging it, which is without the keys. So,
Yeah.
Well,
it's a different time.
So they've gotten pretty good with car security at the very least. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah.
I'm still not going to leave mine unlocked.
No. Let's see here. The convertible truck crossed the Mississippi, and Colt was in an area close to Dallas City, Illinois, known as Happy Hollow. A place apparently where banjos can be heard deep in the woods.
Played by people, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
Not fairy creatures.
Have you ever seen Deliverance? I think this is what the insinuation is here. Okay, so while driving, Colt managed to get the truck stuck in some deep mud. And if he has seen Deliverance, he's probably very worried right now.
Yeah. Time to go.
He tried to get out with a shovel, but the diarrhea-like substance ended up winning the fight. This left Colt little other choice than to start walking on his own 2 bare feet. Colt crossed back over the Mississippi River, but this time with a rowboat. So this is what I get. He went over, but now he's coming back the other side of it, okay? Because I think he's trying to get somewhere else because he got stuck in the mud on the other side of the Mississippi.
And he just found this rowboat?
I guess he found a rowboat.
Just out.
And mind you, you've seen the Columbia, right?
Yeah.
Which is a big, big river. It's like, I think, 4th largest in North America or the U.S.
Yeah.
Mississippi's even bigger.
Yeah.
Crossing the Columbia in a rowboat would be terrifying, let alone this. So,
yeah.
So...
And in a rowboat, you just found that your boat is in good condition.
It was not an easy trip since he lost his oar, and consequently was literally up shit river without a paddle. Later on, and back on the Iowa side of the Mississippi, the police found a stolen reported car in Burlington that had been left at Casey's General Store. The store was across the street from the Southeast Iowa Regional Airport. At the airport, a pilot taxied a plane to his hangar, and when he opened the door, it was a little more empty than when he left it because his Ford F-150 was gone. The truck, in fact, had been gone for 3 days, and a cop had even seen it at the Vermilion Airport 228 miles away in Indiana. When he saw it, he didn't say anything because the truck had not been reported stolen yet.
Hey, that guy doesn't own that truck, and it's just over here. That's weird.
Well, how many F-150s are there, too? So that's so
about 10 billion, I'm guessing.
At Vermilion, Colt poked around some hangars, but did not find any planes that took his fancy. There was a Piper and some old World War II planes, all of which were not practical to steal. Moving on from the airport, Colt sprinted off in a car that belonged to a waitress. He headed north and drove until he reached Bloomington, Indiana. I feel bad for that waitress for some reason. I should feel bad for everyone, but I feel bad for the waitress. I don't know why.
She's getting screwed. You know, everybody else, if you have a plane parked at an airport and you've got hangar space, you're likely well off. I mean, half the vehicles stolen in this story have been Cadillac Escalades. Not a cheap vehicle by any means. But this lady's just at her shift. She's at a Denny's, and then her car gets stolen by this asshole. I mean,
well, you beat me to it, so I have a little joke for you. What do waitresses and toilet paper have in common? They both deal with assholes. So
preempted you there.
Yeah. Okay, so after the car had been found, the FBI and Homeland Security were calling the local sheriff to let them know to be on the lookout for you-know-who.
They won't be.
Meanwhile, Colt had made a cozy camp among some trees that gave him a great view of the Monroe County Airport. Even though he was on the lam, he took some me time out by listening to his iPad and sketching airplanes on his notepad that he wanted to build someday. When he was not doing this, he would crowbar his way into the hangars, looking for the perfect plane to take on another joyride.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's been in the air.
Yeah, and my guess is he just hasn't found the one that suits his fancy. He doesn't know how to start it. Could be weather. I think there's been some conflicting patterns here, okay?
Yeah. It's hard to say, too. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's familiar with the last time he took a plane, it was up in the Northwest. Now he's in these areas he's never been to before, so maybe there's a bit of that. Maybe the situation with landing amongst the stumps maybe Scared him a bit.
Well, he is out in the Midwest now where there's nothing. So this would be a good place to do it.
This would be a better place than the Northwest, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll back up a touch here. When he was not doing this, he would crowbar his way into the hangars, looking for the perfect plane to take on another joyride, and at Monroe, he had finally found it. It was a 2008 310 horsepower Cessna Corvallis 400 TT, which had a 1,200-mile range. A plane similar to the Cirrus SR-22, the model plane Colt had already flown twice. It was owned by two brothers, Don and Spider Miller.
Hang on. Go back.
What?
Don and...
What's the normal name?
Hang on. What?
Don and Spider Miller.
Don and Spider?
Yeah, Spider. He's a Spider-Man. What, you ever heard of a Spider-Man?
I'm going to need to see some pictures of the Spider-Man.
Okay, well, Don and Spider Miller also appropriately owned a beer distribution business. I told you the names would throw you off.
I like the idea that the mom was like, all right, first one, Don. Reasonable. 3 letters. After that, I'm feeling Spider.
It may have been a nickname. I want to say he got dubbed Spider because the girls always said he was trying to crawl all over them or something like that, which was an interesting share.
I choose to believe that his name's just Spider.
Okay, well, we'll go with that. So Spider said the plane was due for an oil change, so he asked one of the airport mechanics if he had time to take care of it, of which the mechanic obliged. Colt watched from a distance as the mechanic did his work, and better yet, he even brought over the fuel truck to top her off. The mechanic had been warned that Colt may be in the area, so he made sure to lock the hangar, but left the keys to the plane inside it. The morning of July 4th, 2010, American Independence Day, Colt broke into the hangar and pulled the Corvallis out.
Maybe that was what he was waiting for, was July 4th. Could have been.
It could have. I don't know. Well, there's a lot of fireworks being shot in the air, too, so maybe that would be a little precarious.
Probably the worst day to steal an airplane.
But maybe that would be the reason why he would choose that day, though, because it's the worst day.
Yeah.
So, he also made sure to close the hangar door behind him to hide the fact the plane had been stolen.
Sneaky.
Yeah. He got into the cockpit, fired up the engine, and taxied the plane onto the runway. At 6:01 a.m., a security camera recorded the plane successfully taking off and heading out into the unknown. Colton was back in the saddle. The Cessna hummed along calmly, and the plane's VPR system automatically reported that it was flying within regulation. Colt knew if he kept clear of airports or military facilities and flew below 18,000 feet, he did not need a flight plan. In other words, he could wander the skies however he pleased. Unlike the cars he stole on his trip, this flight was not going to be a constant hop, skip, and a jump. He was going in for the long haul. The plane was capable of taking him out of the country, and that was his exact intention. Cuba was on his agenda since tense relations with the United States made it difficult to extradite anyone, and even though Mr. Castro usually was not happy when unannounced planes flew into his country, Colt decided to take his chances.
Of all the bad decisions in this, I think I'd take American prison over landing my plane randomly in Cuba. Just going to go with that. Also, he's no way of navigating. I mean, I think Cuba's this way. Oh, well, missed it, and it's ocean.
That's a good question. I would assume the plane has a navigation system by this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but maybe not. But yeah, I think it probably would. I would think anyway. But so the plane swung east and flew through a rather infamous area. So this is about to make you really nervous. Okay.
Okay.
The Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So only half an hour later. A man in the Bahamas was walking near the small town of Sandy Point on the island of Great Abaco. He was used to looking up at the sky that was as blue as the sea that surrounded his island, But on that day, he was probably not expecting a small plane to fall out of the sky. Colt overestimated the fuel he had.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I would imagine so. Those things don't have that far of range, really.
So, Colt knew he could not land at a standard airport since custom officials were likely going to be there to greet the incoming plane.
Yeah, I think likely might be a little bit of an understatement.
Good point.
Hello, Corvallis. What the hell is your deal?
It's a 19-year-old kid with bare feet.
Yeah.
Which would not raise any suspicions.
Yeah. Average.
Yep. So, this left him little choice but to attempt another backcountry landing.
Oh, boy.
From high up, he spotted a flat piece of land. But like when he landed the plane in Idaho with the stumps, this area was not exactly ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a clear-cut patch of stumps, this time he was landing in what turned out to be a boggy swamp.
Yeah, and I mean, if the wheels get caught, you're going over.
When the plane touched ground, the front landing gear was immediately ripped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which then made the nose plummet forward, causing the propeller to smash into the swamp, turning it into a mangled mess.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So, this particular plane typically lands within 1,200 feet, but Colton's swamp landing caused the plane to come to a drastic stop in only 150 feet.
Oh, my God. As in what? Isn't that like 30 yards? Right? 150 feet would be 30 yards. Yeah, so it just hit and it just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, from up in the sky, things look good, but
yeah.
Planes want to land on plane stuff,
Unless it's a float plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Idea.
Yeah. So,
I'm no scientist, but I do think the plane want to land on plane stuff.
Was that Obama?
I might have been. I don't know.
Colton.
Colton. What the hell, man? He would have been president at the time.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have been president at the time.
So the impact was so dramatic that the plane automatically sent out a distress beacon that was picked up as far as Florida.
Yeah.
Colton, of course, walked away from the battered plane with no major injuries.
He's like a cockroach, man. It's just, nothing bad can befall this man, no matter what he does.
But when you turn the lights on, he scurries.
Absolutely true.
I wonder if they were found him hiding behind a refrigerator.
I'm eating 8 Snickers back here.
Tic Tacs.
8 Snickers and 2 Tic Tacs is all he's eaten
it's
in
like
the last.
Redfield.
Yeah.
So, back in Indiana, Spider Miller, your buddy, opened his hangar and discovered it was mostly filled with air and not his $650,000 plane.
Yeah, which is now crashed in outside of the country and yeah.
What stunned him even more after he reported the theft was the prime suspect was a teenage boy who had stolen planes before, and Spider's was his 5th. Quote, "Never in my wildest dreams could have imagined a kid like him was out there," said Spider. Well, now you know.
And you can imagine what Spider's dreams are like. I mean, they must be crazy. Webs and all sorts of things.
So, Mary Jane, after the adventurous landing, the Barefoot Bandit walked 8 miles to a small fishing village. Some thought Colt's decision to land on the Bahamas was not a smart choice because, beside his height, he would stick out like a sore thumb since he was, well, white.
Yep.
There are some white islanders, a fair amount of them descendants of British settlers who left the American colonies after the Revolutionary War. But whether it was luck or timing, Colt was there on during a major regatta where plenty of other pale faces would be walking around with sunscreen on their noses.
And this was right around, this would have been like July 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. Yeah, so.
There's going to be a lot of, tourist populations going around.
Yeah. And then there's just this swamp guy that just emerges. Like,
do you have Snickers?
Police?
Even though he had just crashed a plane, and the U.S. Coast Guard and the Bahamian police were aware of the crash, Colt did not waste time and continued to practice his usual MO of stealing things he needed. He stumbled across a small fuel station and convenience store, which he broke in to steal a Gatorade, and 2 packets of potato chips.
You know, you go, girl. You know, stay on that diet.
A brown Chevy Tahoe was liberated next, and he headed out to the highway to Marsh Harbor, a major town on the island. The FBI, up to this point, had been quiet about their investigation of Colton Harris-Moore, mostly because it was a bit embarrassing they had not been able to catch a scrappy teenage kid.
One who's not been particularly good at this whole thieving thing either.
No.
I mean,
it's nothing rocket science.
No.
Clever, but not rocket science.
No,
I mean,
really.
it's not Danny Ocean stuff.
No. This is Daniel Stream.
Yeah. So when Colt went abroad, though, this must have motivated the FBI to go more public because both the Bureau and the U.S. Embassy in Nassau offered a $10,000 reward for the capture of the Barefoot Bandit, which I thought was actually kind of cheap, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess this was probably, 2010, so it's a bit more money. It's the Bahamas.
$16,000.
The plane was worth $650,000. I mean, you know, come on, pony up some dough, U.S. government. Let's get to it.
Speaking of the Bandit, one night / early morning, he broke into a restaurant, a scuba shop, where he stole $156 in cash for a t-shirt. That would be
What the hell is going on in this scuba shop?
$156, 156 in cash and 4 t-shirts. He also broke into a FedEx building, a bike store, and a thrift store.
A whole block. Why stop there?
Colt strolled into the Bahamas Family Market owned by... Later, Colt strolled into the Bahamas Family Market owned by Ruthie Key. She said Colt asked if he could use their internet, claiming he had not talked to his mom for months, and he also wanted to talk to his girlfriend. Colt sat down with his computer, where he spent about an hour making internet phone calls. Ruthie stated during his visit he was a very polite young man. Colt eventually finished his business and then bought a sandwich. Police swarmed the market, flashing Colt's picture to Ruthie, asking if they'd seen the boy. The police rushed the market right after Colt had just left the building. And that is the end of part 5.
They're closing in.
But still, though, I mean, he always just gets out at the right time. Yeah, and it's not even trying half the time. It's just dumb
sauntering
luck.
around. Yeah. Ay.
Well, everyone, that was the Penultimate episodes, because there's one more left. The grand finale is coming next, so part 6. So get ready for that. Other than that, quick little reminder here, we are on Patreon. We appreciate any support you can give us that help us keeps this show going, because we do buy a lot of research materials, and of course that adds up after a bit. So whatever you can pitch in, that would be great. And like I said, we've been got our expansion media. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook content. We have a newsletter. If you want to subscribe to the newsletter, just send your name to all lowercase Joyride Adventures1@gmail.com. That'll be in the description box. So before we end this romp here, Kyle, do you have any other finishing thoughts here?
It might have been one of Obama's Escalades that Colton stole.
That's why the FBI got involved real quick.
It's coming full circle.
Well, and the wiener guy in McMinnville is probably still lamenting that. So count your Escalades and count your wieners, all right?
Where to go?
And with that, everyone, we're going to sign up for now. So sound good, Kyle?
Yep.
All right.
See ya.
Thank you much. Signing out.